You're watching The Mic Check, on every Monday afternoon at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, well, just to give you guys a quick overview, we're going to do things maybe a little bit differently than you've done them. What we're going to connect to today is a program that I developed several years ago. Some of you may be familiar with, called the TrueTell. Has anybody heard of the TrueTell at all?
Yes, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, those of you that have heard about it and those of you who are just hearing about it for the first time, the definition of the term TrueTell is your 100% authentic opinion or point of view about what you're talking about. It's how you truthfully feel about anything and everything in your life. This program was created, first of all, I have been coaching clients now for 11 years, and I've been a voice actor for 29 of them. And I've been really fortunate to be able to work in a number of different areas of voiceover, including commercial and promo and narration and trailer, affiliate promo, as well as video games and animation. I don't say those things to kind of run my resume for everyone, but it's just to kind of give you kind of the breadth of my experience. And I've been incredibly lucky to be successful in all of these areas. It came from years of coaching. It came from years of really honing the brand of me in terms of what I brought to the table. Some of you may know this story. Most of you probably don't, is that one of the reasons I started coaching was that about 11 years ago, I developed a vocal disorder that what I thought was being caused by doing so many promos, so many commercials and trailers, etc., that my vocal cords started to strangle. I couldn't figure out what the problem was. And a speech pathologist here in LA had diagnosed me with a disorder that was called spasmodic dysphonia. And what it was manifesting as was that I was in the booth and I was straining to speak, where things used to come naturally, as it does to all of us. I started to create flop sweat when I'd walk into the booth, and I wouldn't be able to phrase certain words. I was efforting, and it created this incredible creative and physical spiral. And I lost all of my confidence. I had an incredible manager, incredible agents, and I couldn't tell anyone this was happening to me. This doctor told me that this disorder that was called, as I said, spasmodic dysphonia, was incurable, and that it was a neurological disorder that they said was being caused by my vocal cords spasming involuntarily because the signals coming from my brain were firing sporadically. The only treatment was Botox in the vocal cords. And they said what that would do would be to stop them from spasming. And I said, well, what is the side effect of this? And the doctor said, you'll be mute for 3 months per injection. So I opted not for that treatment because I walked out of that appointment and said, if I'm not my voice, then who am I? Because I had built an entire career, as so many of us do, on the sound of my voice. It was the God-given gift, this wonderful talent that had earned me such success. Now all of a sudden it failed me. I did find another speech pathologist in West LA who treated this particular disorder without Botox, who was the only doctor in the world who did it this way, and who said to me, they told you you have an incurable neurological disorder. I said, yes. He said, they want to Botox you. I said, yes. He said, you're just speaking in the wrong part of your voice. And I was like, what? He said, we all have what is called the vocal identity. We all think we should sound a certain way when we talk. Men feel the way they should speak a certain way. Women think they should speak a certain way. People of authority feel that their voices sound differently. Parents sound a different way. Judges sound a different way. Cops sound a different way. We all have a vocal identity of how we think we sound. And the same is true of voice actors. That he said, what you've been doing is putting a sound out there for promo, commercial, narration, trailer, for all these different formats of what you think agents, casting directors, producers, vendors, clients, all these people want to hear. And it worked for a long time. And eventually my vocal cords strangled because my body said, yeah, you can't do this anymore. It couldn't sustain it. I was telling true stories, but I was fronting those stories with voices that weren't my own. Now, for animation and video games, that makes complete sense, right? You're creating characters, and that's exactly what you're doing. But so much of commercials, so much promo, so much e-learning, so much trailer, so many of these areas of voiceover are using your own God-given voice. And what I started to realize was the only way that I could kind of walk through this was to give back to other actors and get them to start to not do what I was doing. And I started to notice how inauthentic some actors' performances were. My clients were coming in and I'm going, that doesn't sound real. That doesn't sound truthful. How many times have we all heard this, right? Doesn't sound connected, doesn't sound truthful. And I started to understand how to get people out of that inauthenticity because they were using voices that weren't their own. So I started redirecting them to the truth of what they were talking about and letting their own natural voices come forward to tell the stories. And the transformation was insane. You started to see changes in booking ratios. People were coming in and saying, you know, I feel really good today. I feel good about telling that story. I feel like my booth is my creative haven. It becomes my creative cave in ways that it never did before. And it took me a while to come out, so to speak, and talk to people about what my experience was, because I'm saying, the second I tell the industry this has happened to me, it's all over. People are going to think, well, he's damaged goods, he's out. And I started to realize the opposite was happening. The people were hearing differences in my reads, but they were also hearing differences in so many actors' reads. And I termed this method the True Tell. So over the last several years, I've really created more of a real specific way of coaching to get you guys to know that when you step into the front of that microphone, well, first of all, let me ask a question. How many of you guys can say, by a raise of hands, how many times out of 5 would you say you walk away from an audition saying it doesn't get any better than that? How many people can say 5 out of 5 times? How many people 4 out of 5 times? 3, okay, Russ says 4. Who says 3 out of 5? Okay, what about 2 out of 5? Okay, great. And how about 1 out of 5? Anybody 0 out of 5? Okay, so the majority of people are hitting between 2 and 3. Okay, what about when you're having conversations with anybody you know, away from the booth, friends, family, spouses, children, whatever? How many people would say 5 out of 5 times their conversations are connected with anybody they know? Okay, Michael, yes. 4 out of 5. Okay, Nathan, great. 3 out of 5. Okay, 2 out of 5. Okay, 1 out of, okay. So Dan, you would say 2 out of 5 times you're having conversations with people authentically?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, gotcha. What about 1 out of 5? Okay, so the majority of people in this range are really hitting it 4 out of 5 to 5 out of 5. And that's not saying that those of you that are in either side of the scale are way off. It's just interesting to see that the majority of people, when you're just talking to people without a script and a microphone, you're having connected, authentic conversations. But when you're in a booth with a script that you didn't write, words that are in front of you, we suddenly sometimes go, what? Like it all of a sudden becomes this foreign world where we suddenly look at words going, okay, I need to sound, what does it say? Inspirational, conversational, authentic. Okay. What does it say? Energetic with a wink. Okay. Sarcastic and monotone. Okay. Right? We have all these scripts with all these specs that tell us this is what we need to become. Here's the thing to remember, you guys. The specs are not what you have to become. It's what you already are. If you have agents and your agents are sending you these scripts, it's not because your agent is saying to you, yeah, Erica, John, Devin, Jeremy, would you guys just become this, please? You need to become this to book the job. It's the fact that you already are these things and they're asking you to bring the best you to the read. Does this make sense? Okay. So that's the connection each and every time. What we're going to work on here is getting you closer to the feeling of authenticity, you guys. because you know in your everyday life how truth feels. Yes or no? Yes, absolutely. And you know when in authenticity, what that feels like. Anybody jump on in? What is inauthenticity? What does inauthenticity feel like? Anybody? Hand raise. JD, what does it feel like?
Feels like you're pushing, like if you're trying to win an argument, you're asserting, you're overdoing.
Yeah, you're efforting it. You're efforting it. Great. Somebody else? Anybody else? John.
Disconnected.
Disconnected. Absolutely. One more. Anybody else? Russ?
Fake, probably.
What's that?
Fake.
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 Fake,
Yeah.
disconnected, efforted. All those things sound familiar to you guys? You know,
stilted count?
Stilted, absolutely. I love the word. I use that all the time. So it's the feeling of lack of truth. And when you have conversations with people where they are disconnected, dishonest, dismissive, any of the disses and Ds, any of those things, you will avoid those conversations at all costs. Yes or no? Okay. Then why in God's name is this happening in the booth? Why are we having 1 out of 5 true tell conversations, 2 out of 5 true tell conversations? See where I'm going? Mm-hmm. We're spending time in the booth trying to find the connection to a story. And the reason we're walking away from the booth feeling less than connected, less than empowered and effortless is because we don't really always understand why we're telling these stories, but we're telling. So the goal of today, you guys, isn't to get you to, see the, manna from heaven. It's simply to get you to understand and feel when you're connected to what you're talking about and when you're not. Capiche? Very cool. Okay. So, what I want to look at to help you guys with is going to your Google folder. If you will look at the equation of human communication that we talked about, that I sent you guys, that's the 2 orange graphs, right? Okay, when you look at this, this is exactly what I was just talking about. This is every conversation we have all day, every day. In other words, in those 4 and 5 and 5 out of 5 times when you're having those authentic conversations with people, you would never open your mouth to say anything if you didn't know several things were true. First and foremost, what the topic of conversation you're having is. Secondly, who you're having that conversation with, right? Then why you're having that conversation with that person, the who, about that subject matter, the what. Does this track with everybody? Okay. Then secondarily, and still importantly, is where the conversation is taking place and when. So these 5 elements you see on the left side of this equation create a story. It also is another word in everyday speak, a conversation. This is how every conversation is constructed. What it's about, who you're having the conversation with, why you're having the conversation with that person, where it's taking place, and when. So when these 5 elements, you guys, are in balance, meaning that each one of them is in play. Each one of them is clear. Each one of them has an opinion, has a specificity. When each one is fully formed, it creates how something will sound on the right side of the equation. You can't have sound without story. You can, but it's called one thing. What is it? Sound without story is what?
Noise.
Noise. Bingo. Make sense? Bingo. Perfect. So it's that connection to the story completely. Now, this may seem like a really basic thing to everybody, but you'd be surprised the number of times we walk away from scripts not doing this because it's not connected. Make sense? Anybody have any questions about that or comments? Okay. So here's the other thing. If one or several of those elements on the left, the what, who, why, where, when, if they are missing, you will hear it in the read. This is why directors, agents, vendors, and clients will say, Erica, do me a favor. It's really nice what you're doing, but I think I need you to connect to it more. Can you give me a little more of you? Okay. And I say to people sometimes, that's the hardest thing to tell an actor to do, because they're thinking that they're giving you all of them, but the reason that they're not hearing the connection, you guys, is because the story's not fully formed. There's something in your voice that is giving away the fact that the story's not totally connected, right? Does that make sense? Okay, fantastic. So what we're going to do today with the scripts that you guys have put together is to connect you even more to those stories. Because the reason that the clients are hiring you guys is because of the connection, of the passion, of the color, of the truth of the conversations that you're having. Now, last thing. There are the chances sometimes, and you may be listening to me and going, yeah, Dave, it's not really that, it's not that much of a science. I do what I do. I read my script once or twice. I do it and I've booked. Okay, I'll buy that. But that's once and again. It's not all the time. And the reason that is the script that you booked is because the conversation you're having, there's certain scripts that you've read, and tell me if you guys, my six folks, have you ever picked up a script and you went, yeah, let's just do it because you're connected? Yes or no? Yeah. And there are times, right, and there are times you book that job. It's because of that instant connection, because what you see, your soul, your true tell about it is so right at the top, it's effortless. Yes or no? Now, it's not all the time that you've booked it, but it's when you've walked away from the read feeling that effortlessness we talked about, that lack of stiltedness, the lack of disconnection, when it all feels like all the lights down the track are green, that's when you're connected. But the reason we're doing what we're doing here is to make sure that you have a cheat sheet to get you to that connection, so that you're not walking out of the booth those 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5 times going, I have no idea why I'm here. Right? That makes sense? Okay. Before we jump into scripts, anybody have any thoughts, comments, observations before we dive in? Please do. Please jump in. No? Everybody's so quiet. What is going on with that?
We're just hanging on your every word.
Oh yeah.
This is open to anybody. So
We're really nervous.
Nobody, but no. This is.
I'm not scripted, so it's kind of hard to talk to people.
You need to be scripted. I should. We should give you a script the next time, huh? So you feel more comfortable with the page in front of you. Lovely. Okay, so I am going to pull up our scripts, and who is going to go first? Let me see. Well, let's have our host go first. Let's have Michael go first.
Oh boy. Okay.
Okay, so we've got 2 scripts here, the Amazon Toytopia, and then the other script. Which one is your...
My comfortable one? Or
yeah.
uncomfortable?
Which one is your uncomfortable one?
Is the second one. It's the Destination Unknown promo.
Okay.
So I don't know if you were looking for any specific genre of script. I don't think that was really clear. But
no, it's all fine. This is
okay.
all good.
All right, cool.
Okay, let's start with the Toytopia.
Right.
Let's do the 15.
Okay.
Okay. So here's what I want you to do, Michael. And this is for everybody else. I want you to pick your easy script. And what I want you to do, and Michael's going to be first, so you guys are going to have it easy, is you're going to use that cheat sheet, right? And make sure that the what, the who, the why, the where, and the when are all there before we read. Okay? that make sense?
Hmm.
Okay. So take a minute, Michael, to kind of go through your script. Everybody's going to have a chance to do that. And when you're ready for a read, tell me, but don't jump into it until you're ready.
Okay.
Okay. Take your time, everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
If it's happening in toys, it's happening on eBay. Introducing Toytopia, the ultimate place to find the hottest gifts of the season, from rare to retro to right now toys for every kid on your list. Head to Toytopia and stuff those stockings while you still can. If it's happening in, if it's happening on every wish list, it's happening on eBay.
How did that feel?
Uh, Uncomfortable. Again, this
Okay.
one was the one that I was not uh, very comfortable with or connected to, so to speak.
Oh, this one you weren't connected to.
Correct. The other one
Ah.
I felt more confident with.
Okay. So why were you feeling uncomfortable with this particular script?
Well, I've always felt uncomfortable going into more like of the excited and positive and happy sound. That's just not normally me. I know how weird that sounds, but um,
So I got a question.
mhm.
Why is it on your demo? Why is Old Navy on the demo then?
That was well, that one actually, that particular spot, I remember doing it took me a lot of time to get, and
Okay.
I realized that I haven't practiced that particular part of my demo as much as I should.
Well, let me just say this to you is that I went through for our 6 members who are working today, I've gone through all of your demos and I've gone through your websites and kind of familiarized myself with your work. And one of the things I said about you, Michael, was that retail, I said in my notes, I'm looking at right here, is great retail, want more storytelling. But I said great retail, and Old Navy, I put yes with 4 exclamation points next to it.
Yeah,
So
that one was the
here's
hardest for me to get.
okay, but here's what I'm saying to you guys is that what you think sometimes is your biggest Achilles heel actually is your biggest asset. That you're shortchanging yourself to think that retail is your biggest Achilles heel, when in fact what I heard was one of your greatest assets. So I love the fact that I picked the wrong script. I thought this was your easy one. And so now you're hearing that from somebody on the outside. I'm going, you have this impression. We have this impression of ourselves in these home studios, you guys. We don't have the luxury of directors directing us every minute of the day, right? You don't have agents or people at P2Ps that are talking to you every minute of the day. So, what is this story about, Michael? Let's go back to the equation. The what, the who, the why, the where, the when. What is this story about?
So this is definitely a holiday retail script. So
Mm-hmm.
I imagine with, eBay online ordering, I imagine sort of like a younger family, like maybe with parents in their, late 20s, early 30s, something like
Mm-hmm.
that, with some young kids who are really getting into, starting to actually ask for, different crazy toys and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Or maybe they
when you're saying the family, where is this family? Who is this family?
I didn't have one particularly in mind.
So they
Uh,
didn't have faces.
no, not really.
Nobody has a face. Wow. I don't know. They get around. That's going to be kind of an interesting family to look at. They have no faces. So, so we have a family with no face. We don't know how many kids we have. We don't know what the mother and father look like. And here's Michael telling the story. Now, let's go back to the what. This story is about Toytopia.
Mhm.
What is Toytopia?
It's
That's all I needed to know right now. Do you see where we are?
yeah. Mhm.
Okay. This is the client that has a checkbook sitting there ready to sign it, going, who is this guy? So we walked into a script without knowing what the story was about, right? It's as if it's like getting on a diving board that's 8 feet up off of an 8-foot pool of water. And all you did was walk up to the diving board and just jumped off it. Didn't look, didn't see what was below you. And as you're going down, you're realizing there's only a foot of water in the 8-foot pool. Oh, crap. Okay. You jumped off the ledge without even knowing what you were jumping off into. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. So you have the opportunity, guys, everybody, the opportunity and the disadvantage that we no longer have a reason to not know about anything. Remember that they will know when you know, and they will also know when you don't. This makes sense? Make no mistake. There is no chance for do-overs. There's no chance for, give me one more shot or whatever. You either know it or you don't. And that's the result of booking and not booking. Now, you can't say that just because you know things, you're going to book. There is a subjective aspect to the business. But this is about getting us really to the core of every story so that when you walk out, we come from that effortless place of truth. Make sense? Okay, so I'm not using you as an example, Michael. I'm saying this is a perfect example of so many of us when we get in the booth and we don't really understand the conversation we're having. So let me ask you, what is your true tell? And again, the definition of true tell is your 100% authentic opinion about something. What is your true tell about toys?
I think they're fun. I think they offer a lot of excitement just in ways that, other things can't. Like for instance, one of the things that I've recently gotten into has been board games, and opening one of them up and seeing all the components and everything like that that's in there brings this feeling of excitement and wonder of possibilities that isn't there with many other things. And I think that's one of the major draws of toys in general.
Now tell the story.
If it's happening in toys, it's happening on eBay. Introducing Toytopia, the ultimate place to find the hottest gifts of the season, from rare to retro to right now toys for every kid on your list. Head to Toytopia and stuff those stockings while you still can. If it's happening on every wish list, it's happening on eBay.
How'd that feel?
Felt much more connected that time.
Much more connected. And guess what? He didn't stumble in any words, did he?
Nope.
We didn't stumble this time because there was more of a connection to the story. You had created the world of Toytopia, but more so understanding your own connection to toys. The truth of your connection to the toys made the read shift into a place of it being more believable, approachable, authentic, and true. Right?
Right.
Okay. Now, is there a kid in your world that, do you have kids?
No.
Okay. Is there a kid in your world who absolutely would love Toytopia?
Yes.
Who is it?
Her name is Sterling.
Okay. How old is Sterling?
Sterling is 7 years old.
Okay. So she loves toys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I want you to tell Sterling about Toytopia. And I literally want this to be a read on Christmas morning, right next to the tree. Now tell her the story.
If it's happening in toys, it's happening on eBay. Introducing Toytopia, the ultimate place to find the hottest gifts of the season. From rare to retro to right now toys for every kid on your list. Head to Toytopia and stuff those stockings while you still can. If it's happening on every wish list, it's happening on eBay.
Okay, nobody's sleeping. Nobody's sleeping in the house. Right now, we're too soft. We're trying to not wake everybody up.
Oh, I'm too soft.
The read got too precious. So remember, it's Christmas morning. The toy, literally, this is hyperdrive. Every 7-year-old going down to a tree. Holy crap! Right?
Right.
So it's just snowed overnight. There was 8 inches of snow that snowed on Christmas morning.
In
And
California?
bright
Wow.
and sunny. It's as bright and sunny as it possibly could be. Now tell her the story.
If it's happening in toys, it's happening on eBay. Introducing Toytopia, the ultimate place to find the hottest gifts of the season. From rare to retro to right now toys for every kid on your list. Head to Toytopia and stuff those stockings while you still can. If it's happening on every wish list, it's happening on eBay.
How'd that feel?
It felt very different. It felt a lot more, I felt a lot more excited.
A lot more excited, and there was a truth to it. Now, you also kind of, are you ever given the note, guys? Do you ever give Michael the note that he reads too fast?
Yes, all the time.
Okay, so this is an Achilles heel for you, where John Knowles is nodding his head yes. So is Nathan. So it's trying to get off the page as quickly as possible. Keep us on the edge. Keep us engaged and interested, Michael. So the difference in this take versus the first one, now we have a story. Now we understand our connection to toys. We have, let's go back to the what, who, why, where, when. The what is Toytopia. The who is, what's the little girl's name? Sterling. Why? Because she loves toys. Where is the living room on Christmas morning after it snowed 8 inches? Well, it's Christmas. And when is Christmas morning? So what we did was we created a scenario that was so vivid and true that the read itself, the how, shifted into a place of wonderment. It was a place of wonderment. And the effortlessness you felt in the read is what we're talking about. Now, I don't expect to solve the world's problems in 2 hours, but it's getting that first feeling of truth where it didn't feel like you were climbing up a mountain, did it?
Right.
No, exactly. So the other thing with regard to your speed, there's a comfort level with certain parts of your life. And the little that we've talked, I've never heard you speak quickly, but I do in the copy. Every word you speak is important. The value of you is in every word. Don't shortchange your audience. Give them the chance for you to tell the story to them. Your words have value. Let them have value. Okay?
Okay.
Cool. Very nice work, man. And by the way, Patrick Kirshner wants to go shovel the driveway. Thanks, Patrick. Okay. Let's take a look. All right. Oh, this isn't it. I went to my own Google Drive. All right, let me go back to share. Oh, here we are. Okay, Nathan, let's have you up, my friend.
Okay.
Okay, so which one is yours? We have one piece of copy here. Okay, and this is for e-learning.
Yeah.
Would you consider this to be an Achilles heel or an easy script?
I would consider it to be an Achilles heel.
Okay, awesome. So did you have a chance to prep it with the what, who, why, where, when?
Yeah, I've been looking over it while you were going over that with Michael.
Okay,
and
awesome. Do you think you're ready for a read?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to have you read, you're only reading the top 2 paragraphs, I'm assuming?
Yeah. Yeah. The bottom part of it's the other piece of copy. I just kind of put them on the same page just to keep them together.
I got you. Okay. So let's go with, let's just take the first section, the e-learning section.
Okay. This section measures the ability to recognize language that is appropriate for standard written English. There are 2 types of questions in this section. In the first type of question, there are incomplete sentences. Beneath each sentence, there are 4 words or phrases. You will choose one word or phrase that best completes the sentence.
Okay, so how did that feel?
To me, it felt a little too staccato.
Okay. That is how it sounded. That's a sound reference. That's not a feeling reference. You wouldn't say to somebody, how'd you feel? Staccato.
I kind of felt robotic when I read it, though.
Okay, there you go. So robotic is how it felt. Staccato was the sound of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Does everybody see the difference? That is, we're talking about that it is robotic, which will create a sound of staccato.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the basics. What is this about?
Yeah, well, and this is just e-learning dealing with the English language.
Okay, that is kind of a general statement. That's a very
Yeah.
generic, not generic, but
Yeah.
it's a very general what.
Yeah.
This has to do with the English language. Okay. Let's get a little more specific as to what it's about. What would you say it's about? Not just the English language.
The English language, phraseology, and really how to best complete a sentence.
Okay. So if I were to ask you your true tell about this story or about this copy, you would say what? Connected, not connected, passionate about it, don't care.
I am not as connected as I should be.
That wasn't the answer to the
Yeah,
question.
I see what you're saying.
That's what you think
Yeah,
you're supposed to answer, but what is the true answer? What'd you say? Do you really care?
I'm not as passionate about this. I'm not.
Right.
No.
Okay.
And I'm a passionate person by nature, but
Okay, so it kind of goes against your kind of your gut reaction to the copy, right?
yeah,
This isn't how you walk and talk the planet.
yeah.
Okay, so what that tells us, everybody stand by, you're not going to tell the story. What? If you don't tell the story, then I guess I have to pass up on the audition. Oh no. I wouldn't do that to you. Okay, so there are several different people who can tell a story. Any story. If you take every script, you guys, that's available in the US and Canada, say in a month's time, every format of voiceover, everything from IVR to e-learning to video games, commercial promo, you name it, corporate narration. Let's say there are 800 scripts, okay? Then you break it out by gender. And unfortunately, ladies, I apologize. Men are still probably 65, 35, 60 to 40% are men versus women. Let's say we break it out. Let's say for the men, that's 400 scripts. It is physically, creatively, spiritually impossible for any male or female to tell every story that there is in existence because everyone's different. There's diversity, right?
Mhm.
So, but that doesn't mean that every script you get that you can't tell, you throw out. The question is there somebody else in your world whose true tell about this, about mastering the English language, loving languages, loving translation, anything to do with grammar, sentence construction, writing, could step in and tell this story sight unseen, and they love it? Someone in your world, authentically. Would you say?
Actually, I think there's someone right in this room that would.
Who is it?
Just somebody on the call here, because Goldie studies the different dialects. So
Okay.
I think I mean she would connect well with this.
Okay, so here's the thing, and this is going to be interesting. So guess who is going to tell the story? Goldie. Now, this is when you adopt what's called the essence of someone else. This is the basic foundations of character development. This is how every character is created. In other words, every character you've ever seen on stage, screen, and on film, a stage, screen, and television, those characters have been fully formed so that when you look at them, you hope that there is truth in what you're seeing. There are characters and character actors you've seen who are the most brilliant at creating characters where you go, I totally believe that. Philip Seymour Hoffman is a perfect example of someone who was my idol as a character actor. There isn't anything that he created where I didn't believe he was the character. Meryl Streep's another one, De Niro's another one, run the list down. These people have that ability to create total seamless characters where the truth of that character is so real, you don't see the actor, correct? So what we're doing here is Goldie is going to step forward and tell the story because she's a master or a savant when it comes to language, the use of language, the use of the English language itself. Because for her, in this scenario, she doesn't know, Nathan, that she's a character. She doesn't even know she's reading a script. If you choose a character to tell a story, that character steps forward and tells that story without reservation, without hesitation, without fear of judgment. What did I say? Fear of judgment. There is no fear of judgment. Which of you guys works in animation or video games at all? Anybody?
Actually, I have. I've done animation, and what the most current animation I've done just landed in a app that's on Google Play.
Well, this is the point. That's wonderful. That's awesome. Yeah. But the character you created for that app or any form of animation, there is a lack of fear of judgment, correct?
Yeah.
Because
I also work with puppets.
There you go. So the creation of a character, that character lives in its own true tell and is completely impervious to judgment.
Yeah.
So there's Goldie there. She's ready to go. She loves the story. So when you speak through a character, you give up the right to two things, Nathan. You give up the right to the read itself, and you give up the right to the room the story's being told in. This is the two words I want you guys to walk away from this session today with are the words freedom and the word trust. The freedom to tell a story authentically from the top to the bottom, whether it's you or the character you choose, and trusting, this is so important, trusting that God-given instrument is going to shift and change itself to tell the story exactly the way it's supposed to. Because in regular life, you guys, when you walk the planet, does anybody really worry about the sound of their voice? No. It's only when we get into a professional environment with a microphone, because everything in our business is predicated on sound. We think, how did I sound? How do I sound? How do you think I sounded? Call your agent. How did it sound? Do you think it sounded okay? Do you want me to redo it? Can you imagine doing that in regular conversations with people? Give me another do-over. I don't think I was connected and authoritative enough, right? We would never do that. And suddenly we walk in a booth and insecurity creeps in the door. So again, this process is designed to get you to that place of pure, authentic connection. And be clear about this, you guys. This entire process is not about perfection. If I taught perfection, I should be laughed out of the business. This is completely about connection, not perfection. The voice will be perfect when the story is connected. Your perfect voice is that natural authority, that natural authenticity you've had and you carry with you every minute of the day. If people hated your voices, they wouldn't talk to you. If people thought that your voices were less than, they wouldn't connect with you. They wouldn't ask you to dinner. They wouldn't marry you. They wouldn't be your parents. They wouldn't be your children. But that natural God-given gift will shift and change itself in truth, just like it does every minute of every day in the booth. Okay? Make sense? Okay, so Nathan, now that we know that, let's get back to our friend Goldie, who's dying to talk about language and English. Right, Goldie? Okay, so Nathan, it's all about letting go and letting her tell the story completely from the top to the bottom, whenever you're ready.
This section measures the ability to recognize language that is appropriate for the standard written English. There are two types of questions in this section. In the first type of question, there are incomplete sentences. Beneath each sentence, there are 4 words or phrases. You will choose the one word or phrase that best completes the sentence.
Okay, we're getting there. This time you didn't take that huge pause between paragraph 1 and paragraph 2, which means she couldn't wait to tell the next paragraph. Okay, so what would you say Goldie's personality is like? Without her telling me. What would you say her personality is like?
Friendly, approachable.
Mm-hmm. And she loves language.
Yeah.
Okay. So friendly and approachable, I want you to let go of your, because I was hearing you being a little hesitant. This is a little bit different because Goldie's on the call, but the script doesn't know she's there. And you're holding her back. Because what's happening, you guys, is if you look at my hands, it's almost like Nathan stepping in front of Goldie. She's trying to tell the story. She's like, get the hell away from me. I'm trying to tell the story. So she's jockeying for position. You're stepping in front of her as she's trying to tell it. Now let her tell it.
This section measures the ability to recognize language that is appropriate for standard written English. There are two types of questions in this section. In the first type of question, there are incomplete sentences. Beneath each sentence, there are 4 words or phrases. You will choose the one word or phrase that best completes the sentence.
How did that feel?
That felt way more comfortable.
Much more comfortable, and I heard the words a lot more. There's a couple places where you got a little mush mouth, but I heard a brightness. I heard a story. I heard a flow, right?
Yeah.
Nice job, bud. And so this was your Achilles heel. And the reason it was your Achilles heel was simply because you didn't understand why you were telling it in the first place.
Yeah.
Because you can't stand the copy. But Goldie saved the day.
Yeah. My mindset tells me that this copy is taking me away from being the character actor that I actually am. And
okay, there
I
it
see
is.
that I felt that adjustment as you were going along, and I really appreciate that adjustment.
There we go. Beautiful.
Because I mean, the other piece of copy I picked was one that I had actually auditioned for, which was a toy, a talking toy, which is a squirrel, which I happen to have a squirrel puppet. Okay, a squirrel
There
puppet.
you go.
Like Joe Pesci. This guy's got a British accent, but this is my wheelhouse copy.
There you go. Bingo.
As the squirrel. And the other thing, I've done narration, but I've done it in character.
Right. So now we took you out of character and you realize you can do it.
Yes.
Absolutely. Beautiful job.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Miss Kane.
Hello.
Hello. Which one is your easy copy, ma'am? Unless you want to do your challenging copy now that you've heard.
Sure. Yeah.
Folks. Which one would you like to do?
Boy, I'm happy to do either. Let's, I think I'd rather work on my challenge.
Okay. Which one is that?
Yeah. SoFi is my easier one. That was it. And then FedEx. The challenge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So have you had a chance to prep it?
I have.
Okay, great. So we are all ears when you are ready.
Okay. And just quickly, I wanted to mention is if this is okay. Obviously this script is a little old because it says Federal Express instead of FedEx. So I was just going to switch it to FedEx if that works.
Please.
Okay. So, all right, here we go. Okay. So you use the other guys and now your package is, well, maybe it's not lost, but it sure didn't get to the client's office by 10 a.m. And now the boss wants to see you. So next time, use FedEx, reliable, on-time, courteous service. So your package arrives where it's supposed to, when it's supposed to, and at a very reasonable price. FedEx gets it there.
Okay, how'd it feel?
Blah. Blah.
Blah.
Yeah.
Okay, blah. Why blah?
I don't know. There's something about, even though I have a sense of humor and humor is important to me, I somehow tend not to connect or not to book the sort of like tongue in cheek or kind of sort of slightly funny edge stuff like this. And I don't know why. Maybe I'm not connecting to it authentically for some reason.
Okay. Well, what is the copy about? Let's go back to the what.
Sure. So yeah, we're telling you that we're delivering a reliable service, something you can count on.
Okay, we're telling you who's where.
Well, where I suppose is kind of nebbling, wherever you need it to be.
No, I mean, you're saying we're telling you. So
I'm sorry.
Who's
I'm sorry. We, well, as in the company, FedEx.
Okay. But you don't work for FedEx, do you?
No.
No, I didn't think you did. So it's not FedEx that's telling the story. You're telling the story. Now,
Right.
it's the use of the pronoun we. You do have the creative license to change the pronoun to they, or me to you. I mean, change the pronoun so that it works
Hmm.
for you. So you're the spokesperson for FedEx. Now, why are you, Erica Kane, talking about FedEx? Because the first question I'll ask you is, what's your true tell about FedEx?
Right.
And you would say,
It's, well, honestly, I don't really feel like I have a personal connection. So,
because you don't use them.
I don't know.
Okay. Do you use any kind of courier service?
Yeah, honestly, probably usually the postal service, usually US
Okay.
typically.
So is that a necessary evil? Or is it just kind of you trust it more than you trust anybody else?
It's no, honestly, it's just most convenient. Nothing personal.
Hence, guys, hence the bleh.
Mm,
It's a bleh. So
mhm.
if you don't really care about how you ship things, why are you telling the story to begin with?
Right.
There's your true tell.
Okay.
So I want you guys to be clear about something. You really need to call yourself on your stuff. What is my true tell about this story? Really, it's not difficult to look at something and don't feel like you have to have toe the company line to have the right answer. I need to love this because my agent sent this to me and I need to book this. No. You want to spend extra time in the booth and spin your wheels? Because you wouldn't have conversations like this. You wouldn't talk about things that you aren't connected to. Why start now? Right?
Mm.
Okay. So what we know is this is not Erica Kane's story to tell, correct?
Correct.
Now, here's one last thing. If you have your come to, the Messiah moment where you realize you're not telling the story, this doesn't make you a bad actor. It makes you brilliant.
Mm.
Because you know the moment when it's time for you to step out of the way and let the character tell the story.
Mm.
Because in the end, you guys, this is what the client wants. The client wants connection. Again, they will know when you know, and they will know when you don't. Don't give them a reason to say no. Okay? So, courier services, transport, freight. Who in your world could have this conversation? Who cares about these kinds of things? Who really is either in this business or relies on this stuff all the time?
Mm. My husband is an avid Amazon shopper, so we get frequent packages delivered. My dad used to work for UPS. I'm trying to decide the best character I've got.
So the thing about Amazon I love is that Amazon basically, wouldn't you say that Amazon pretty much is on par with this story?
Sure.
Okay, because Amazon so many of the times is free shipping.
Right.
All right. So what we're gonna do here, you guys, is create what's called substitution. Who's heard of substitution? Anybody? We've all, that standard voiceover terminology. The substitution is for Amazon, because for your husband to tell the story. What's your husband's name?
Joel.
Okay. So just like we did earlier with Goldie,
Mhm.
Joel is going to tell this story. And again, you're going to be stepping out of the room and letting Joel come forward authentically to tell the story about Amazon. Is Joel in the room?
Well, he just made a loud noise as he was stepping out of it.
Hi, Joel.
He says hello.
Okay. So Joel is going to tell the story completely because he just needs to tell the story. He uses this all the time.
Okay.
Doesn't get any better than that.
All right.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. So you use the other guys, and now your package is, well, maybe it's not lost, but it sure didn't get to the client's office by 10 a.m. And now the boss wants to see you. So next time, use FedEx. reliable, on time, courteous service. So your package arrives where it's supposed to, when it's supposed to, and at a very reasonable price. FedEx gets it there.
Hello. FedEx gets it there. So we heard reliable, on time, courteous service. And my favorite part is, and now the boss wants to see you. So in that read was that sarcasm that you think you don't have, that comedy that you think you don't have, that showed up automatically on its own because Joel told the story authentically.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Erica Kane, we love her. She doesn't have any humor. Are you kidding?
Well, I do, but I guess I didn't connect it well before. So
Right, because you were afraid that it really wasn't your wheelhouse.
right.
So what we're doing, you guys, is crushing these Achilles heels where it's like, Michael thought retail wasn't his thing. Oh no, it is. You thought you weren't funny. And the thing with Nathan is Nathan thought that, he's all about being a character actor, and that working straight copy like this, that's e-learning. Somebody's going to book the job. It might as well be Nathan. It might as well be Goldie. She better get a kickback. I swear to God, there's going to be hell to pay if she doesn't. But it's that thing where you let your characters come forward if you have to, and let them tell the story so authentically the client goes, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that was incredibly helpful for me, because if I'm doing a video game or playing an actual character, then I don't have a problem connecting the humor or playing that character who has the
Right.
But when it's something more sort of straight, so to speak, like this commercial, then I have an issue with the connection, and that makes perfect sense. And
Yeah.
I will use it from now on.
Beautiful. Very, very nice. Okay. And one quick point I want to make, you guys. Give me 1 second here. Okay. So one of the things I noticed about your website is you're about being nice. This was part of the copy you had in your HTML about your words, your words, her voice, magic.
Mm-hmm.
Want you to come down to earth a little bit. And I think this kind of plays into your feelings that you don't feel like you're funny, that there is an element to your reads. I wrote in the critique, bring your upscale down a bit. You make the products a little out of touch. You do create the magic and the upscale factor. These things are built into what I call, you guys, your vocal DNA. You've got those things. Give yourself the opportunity to play more. Not making the reads so formal, but there's elements here that are so gorgeous. Your voice has that element, that incredible flow to it, that for the world of promo, we're in. There's so many things that you have in your demo that are great. You love narrating documentaries. I totally can tell. Absolutely, which is why people like Attenborough, Sigourney are your idols, and it makes complete sense. But also give yourself the opportunity on the commercial side to be freed up like this. That's why this script makes total sense that it was an Achilles heel for you.
Sure. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Absolutely. Okay. So let's move on. I'm just getting used to the Google Drive here, guys. I'm apologizing. Okay. Miss Goldie.
Hello.
Hello. Let's jump in. Okay. So we've got 2 animation projects.
Yep.
Okay. Which one would you like to start with?
Well, steel is my Achilles heel. So if we're just gonna do one, that would be the one I want to do.
Okay. Well, we'll probably get through 2.
Okay, because I
so
probably can include the other one anyway.
Okay. So
So let's do
steel
steel.
is
Yeah.
okay. So now, have you developed the character?
I have tried to develop a character, but pretty much all my military reads, people are like, "Oh, you're not something enough,"
Okay.
and I kind of feel like I should be able to do a military character.
Okay. And that's a sound of military.
Yeah.
Okay. So which is why your reads are all sounding the same, because you haven't developed enough of the true tell of the character yet. Okay. So can you use the this is where using a character,
Mhm.
and it's taking you one step further
Mhm.
from the two characters, the two possible storytelling options we've had. So the
Mhm.
first possible person of telling a story is you, right?
Mhm.
The second option is someone in your personal life who can tell this story.
Mhm.
So that would be someone in your world who is military, ex-military,
Mhm.
who lives in this world, who has a chip on his shoulder,
Mhm.
who is angry.
Mhm.
Is there someone in your world who is that?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Israel Walker. Uh, he's somebody in our synagogue.
Okay. So he's an angry guy?
He's like, I deserve better than this, and it's not my fault, and
Everything's negative.
yeah.
Okay. What size is he? What's his dimensions?
He is really tall.
Okay. So he's kind of ominous. He kind of uses his
Yeah.
height to his advantage.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's a perfect example of where his physical characteristics, you already just told me he dominates and tries to intimidate, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, here's the difference with characters, you guys, using True Tell.
Mhm.
This is a send up because it's
Mhm.
an animation character. You
Mhm.
are going to use the voice
Okay.
to your best of ability, but it's
Yeah.
stepping into his skin and letting
Mhm.
him tell the story.
Okay.
Let's just do graph number 1.
Okay. Solomon, I figured I'd see you here. Well, you G3 boys are too late. That collateral damage over there makes this a military operation.
Okay, don't be afraid of it.
Okay.
The reason you're tripping on the lines, guys, remember this. If you trip on the lines, all it tells you is you're not in story. That's all it tells you. Doesn't mean your eyesight is gone, you lost your place. You're just not in story.
Okay.
One more time, graph 1.
Solomon, figured I'd see you here. Well, you G3 boys are too late. That collateral damage over there makes this a military operation.
How'd that feel?
Pretty good, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want you to keep the character and I want you to overpronounce the words.
Okay.
Okay. And yeah, so I want you to round out your mouth as you're telling the story.
Okay. Sounds good.
Now have him tell the story.
Solomon, figured I would see you here. Well, you G3 boys are too late. That collateral damage over there makes this a military operation.
Bingo. So what it does is it slows the read down. It gives you the ability to find the character, and overpronouncing, guys, creates drama and tension.
It's
A
the
simple
Jane Lynch read.
What's that?
It's the Jane Lynch read.
It's the Jane Lynch read.
The
Great,
Jane
Golden.
Lynch read?
When she does overpronounce, that's exactly what happens. Exactly. It creates that feeling of stature, of military, of authority. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to graph 2.
All right.
Read through it before you jump in.
Okay. A hero. A hero is someone who fought his way through 3 wars, a man whose every medal is a testimonial to his devotion to his country and its protection. There's no way I'll let this alien technological freak and his friends endanger our country.
How'd it feel?
Semi-connected?
Just learn to breathe. That's the other thing, is that when you're losing your breath, you wouldn't be losing your breath when you're talking.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it here. But do you understand the story in graph 2? What is happening?
I think that the
Think or no?
okay, there we go.
There it is.
alien technological freak and his friends are attacking us, and somebody says we need a hero, and or he's the hero who'll take care of it, and he's like, he's not a hero. A hero is someone like me.
And so much so for your friend in the synagogue, yeah?
Yeah.
Now tell the story. Overpronounce.
Okay. A hero? A hero is someone who's fought his way through 3 wars. A man whose every medal is a testimonial to his devotion to his country and its protection. There's no way I'll let this alien technological freak and his friends endanger our country.
Shah. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so the read is loosening up, guys. You see how this is changing? She's actually emphasizing words that are part of his vernacular, that you've taken on the persona, so that the emphasis on words are not you underlining words and meaning those words, the character's finding them on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so look at and review graph 3, please, and then we'll jump in. And understand the story before you jump in.
Okay. Shut it! Seal off the perimeter! Get me the airhawks! We'll blast that thing to kingdom come!
Good, one more time, commit a little more.
Okay. Shut it! Seal off the perimeter! Get me the airhawks! We'll blast that thing to kingdom come!
Good, very nice. Okay, so now, last graph.
Okay.
Take your time looking at it. And just so you know, Russ, you're on deck, okay?
Okay.
Yep.
Professor, progress report. Professor, remember your first lab project in high school? You cut a frog open. You looked inside its guts to see how it ticks. That's all I want to do. I want to cut this frog to see how it ticks, so next time we're faced with a giant alien frog, we know how to kill it. Engage the X-18. I don't care. Blow it open. That's an order.
Good, very nice. How'd it feel?
Pretty good, actually.
Yeah. So much for the Achilles heel.
Okay.
So when you find the character, you guys, like we said, when you find the person that you can connect to, who's in this world, and we use Goldie's friend from the synagogue as the prototype, because he is angry. He does have a chip on his shoulder. It's all about him.
Mm-hmm.
And then we simply added the overpronounced layer to make the read more intense.
Mm-hmm.
And you never once cared about how you sounded, did you?
No.
No, you didn't. Nice job, girl. I love it.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Okay, thank you. Russ, you're up, my friend.
Yeah, Goldie, you scared me.
It's pretty tough.
That was really good. Yep. You brought out something in her we haven't heard.
Lovely. I love that. And dude, I love that you've labeled your 2 reads. They didn't label them by the products. One is labeled comfortable and one's labeled uncomfortable. Okay.
I'm a logical person.
No, it's cool. Which one do you want to start with, dude?
Well, the uncomfortable one is kind of a scientific read, I guess.
Mhm.
Just talking about dimensions and time and scientific type things.
Okay. All right. So why don't we start with that? All right. So take into account what everybody's done to this point, and we want to make sure we have the what, the who, the why, the where, and the when together. And we also want to make sure after you say, once you declare what the story's about, we want you to ask yourself, what is my true tell, my 100% authentic opinion about the story? If it's passionate and connected, you're going to tell the story, and then you choose who you're going to tell the story to. If you find out that your true tell is, yeah, Anything less than that, it's neutral. I don't really care about it. You're not going to tell the story and find that other person in your life who can step forward and tell it, correct?
Well, when I was going through this, I was kind of doing a who, what, why, where, when, etc.
Mhm.
And I thought, I'm not really connected to it. And then I thought about my wife. She likes these things. She thinks that's cool. But then when I got down to the point of why I'm telling the story, I kind of made up a scenario where I'm talking to other people about it, and what they're going to do with it is create a new product, which saves time in some way. And so
Oh,
then that got me back into it because I'm interested in that. So I feel like I'm
right.
better off thinking of me, helping propel other people to create a new product that saves people time.
Okay, why are you the person doing that though?
Well, um, I think I'm someone that's researched information that the company needed in the first place to get this thing going. And they brought me in, to talk to the other scientists or whatever developers, and give them this information so that it will help them actually create the product.
Okay, so, but you don't work for the company, correct?
I do, just in a different way that these guys do. I'm more of the idea guy. Someone gives me an idea, I kind of flesh it out and then take it to these guys, and then they work on the product itself.
Okay, but the thing is, you don't work for this company. You, Russ DeWolf, don't work for this company, right?
Right.
Okay, so there is no company for you. This has nothing to do with the scenario of a company, because nothing in the copy kind of chalks it, it doesn't go there.
Hmm.
It talks about, as the second law of thermodynamics states, natural processes are reversible. There's nothing here that talks about a company, that talks about a product, right? It's just a conversation about time. Here's the thing, guys, don't overload yourself with things that don't exist. This story is simply about time, right?
Right, but it's not as interesting to me when you say that.
Right, right. But the thing is, it's not authentic. I understand that's not as interesting to you, but we're going to get there. So this conversation is about time and its relationship to, let's go back to the copy, sorry. It's an absolute quantity defined by physics, a relative concept that varies from region to region in the universe. The question is complex and it's existential. But no matter what the answers to this inquiry are, the fact is that time is headed in one direction only. This is a scientist's translation of the word time. You're not a scientist, right?
Right,
There is no company, right?
right,
There is no product, right?
right.
Don't make work where there isn't any. Bottom
Okay.
line is, you're not telling the story. Again, understand your strengths and your challenges. This to you is not a story to tell because you don't understand the connection to it. That's okay. Now, who in your world is a scientist, is a bookworm, is someone who so loves this kind of thing? They could sit and read a physics book and loves it.
Well, my wife does, if she could understand it, and she does her best, but she's really into it in the first place. So
Okay.
I was thinking, she would be a good one.
What's your wife's name?
Beth.
Okay. So for Beth, this is her world. She loves this. So instead of you, Russ, trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, trying to force a story to sound believable, take
Mhm.
yourself off the hook, roll that stone back down the hill, and let Beth tell it.
Okay, I'll try. That's kind of difficult, but
Okay, stop right here. Do you see, guys? Do you hear what just happened? Okay, that's okay. We'll try. It's kind of difficult. We just set ourselves up for failure. You just set yourself up. So we need to come from, and you'll notice that from the on your feet performance health note sheet that I gave you guys.
Mhm.
It's about that self-talk. It's really important and very critical to be careful and start to monitor how you guys are talking about yourself and your relationship to your work. because that's going to create a shift in how you perceive it. Okay? So for Beth to tell this story, again, Russ, this may be a new way of you working, stepping into a character, into her skin, not imitating her. Now, this is your wife, so it's a little kind of awkward. But the truth is, Beth doesn't know you're even in the room. She doesn't know you've told her the story. You've handed her a script. She just knows. It's fascinating to her. Okay?
Okay.
Let her tell the story.
What is time? An absolute quantity defined by physics? A relative concept that varies from region to region of the universe? The question is complex and existential, philosophical, and yet scientific. But no matter what the answers to the inquiry are, the fact is that time is headed in one direction only. As the second law of thermodynamics states, natural processes are irreversible. A coffee is warm. It will naturally become cold, and it can never spontaneously become warm again.
I'm sold. Yeah.
I got the image.
Yeah. Where's the question? The thing came to life. It completely came to life. Now, here's an example, you guys, for the sake of time. We could tweak a couple of words, but on the whole, Russ, it's in. Because for her to tell that story, it is as authentic as it possibly could be. And the emphasis on the words, you brought color to it, you brought life to it. It was awesome, dude. How did it feel?
It felt pretty good. There was it really felt good all the way through. A couple stumbles, but not because I was falling out of character, more just because of the words themselves, I think, were
Yeah, it's probably
kinda
just wrapping your head around them.
a
But
little wordy.
again and again, this is a matter of not letting those things kind of stand in your way. But the read itself was outstanding.
Oh, thanks.
Really simple, very effective. You don't need to, guys, be careful. Just understand, you don't need to overwork it just to prove your value. In other words, Russ has got a great read. Now, he'd want to redo it to tweak the word inquiry and a few other words. But other than that, there's no reason to redo it. It's really good. Let that be a lesson.
Yeah, my
Don't
first thought was try to be a scientist, but then once we started talking, and now my wife, she's not a scientist.
No, but she's connected.
Right. So
Yeah.
I didn't have that scientist voice, going.
But you made it approachable, because that kind of conversation is an approachable read.
Yeah.
Nice job, dude. Very nice, man.
All right, thanks.
Step on up. Thank you, sir. Okay. Let's go to Mr. Knowles. You are bringing up the
Yes,
backside
sir.
here, sir. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
we've got. Now, these are two different scripts, yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Which one are we going to tackle, sir?
I might kind of anxious to do the second one, because it was the one who I would have said would have been my uncomfortable read, because I couldn't really come up with the what, who, why, when, that stuff.
For which one?
The second one
Okay.
starts with who can forget their first love.
Okay.
But as I was sitting there talking, or as you were talking, and it kind of hit me what the who, why, when, where was, who it really was. So, yay.
Okay, so give yourself a minute to get yourself, now that you have that revelation, get yourself right in the zone on the what, the who, the why, the where, the when, get the whole story in shape before we jump in. And the other thing, just to let everybody else know, we're going to go for a round two. And what we're going to do in round two when John is finished is you're going to get 2 passes of your script. So I want you all now to take your other script that you haven't done, and you're going to give me a delivery. We're going to do a quick tweak, a redirect, and then a second read. Okay? So take your time going through those reads while I work with Mr. Knowles. Okay. So, so get yourself in the zone, John, and we're going to go for a read when you're ready.
Okay.
Just take your time.
Who can forget their first love? Their first brush with danger? The first time they felt gripped by a sense of wonder? Dreaming under the lights, not a care in the world. These are the moments when you felt the most alive, the most connected to yourself and to everything around you. Sometimes you just have to go back to where it all started. to build something that will live on through you and the ones you love. Your first and last resort.
How'd that feel?
It felt good.
So what was the story you were telling?
The story is about me. I was trying to come up with something else, but my true tell is I'm getting towards the end of what I call my professional day career. And it got me out of my passions of performing, and I want to get back to that. I want to go back to where that started.
Okay, and who are you telling that story to?
Myself.
Okay, so it's a good self-talk. Now, is there anybody else? First of all, that's a great read. Is there anybody else in your world who you would share this kind of thing with, your desire for the next chapter?
Oh, yeah.
Who is it?
My wife.
Okay. Now tell her the story.
Who can forget their first love? Their first brush with danger? The first time they felt gripped by a sense of wonder, dreaming under the lights, not a care in the world. These are the moments when you felt the most alive, the most connected to yourself and to everything around you. Sometimes you just have to go back to where it all started, to build something that will live on through you and the ones you love. Your first and last resort.
Oh, John, gorgeous read, my friend. Really nice.
Thank you.
What did you guys notice the difference between read 1 and 2? Anybody notice anything different?
And a little softer.
A little softer, yeah.
Much more intimate.
Much more intimate, right? Absolutely. And it was strictly because he changed the person he talked to from himself to his wife. This is what's so key about this, you guys, is going back to the what, the who, the why, the where, the when. The who became his wife. Your wife's name again, John, is?
Julie.
Julie. It became Julie and not himself. I usually discourage people from doing a self-reflective read unless the script calls for an internal monologue. It was a good read, but it was a little kind of forced because you're trying to figure out how you're telling yourself, like how are you positioning it. And once Julie came in, it was effortless. So it took the push out of the read, right?
Yes, sir.
And the beauty of the story, the journey of that truth, that authenticity came forward. And it was sweet, dude. It was really nice, John. Bravo. Such a nice job.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're getting this. A great way to launch into the second part is everything is about the authenticity. It's all about connection. The whole entire business is predicated not on sound, but on story backed up by sound. It's all based on story backed up by sound. Make sense? Cool. Beautiful. Okay, let's go for round 2. And I'm going to let you guys jump in. Who's ready to jump in for round 2? Anybody?
I'll go ahead and jump in. Why not?
Okay, Michael's back in. Okay, buddy. So let's look at the Destination Unknown promo.
Destination Unknown.
Okay, take your time. Don't jump in until you're ready.
Introducing the one and only network that bridges the gap between the real and the supernatural. Destination Unknown. The only network featuring evidence of ghosts. The only network featuring encounters with aliens. The only network featuring legendary monsters. Join us on a journey to the only destination featuring an exclusive lineup of unsolved mysteries and supernatural shows. Coming Halloween 2017.
Okay, how did it feel?
I liked it. I like those kinds of reads personally.
Okay.
I felt connected to something like that.
Okay, who are you telling the story to?
I'm telling the story to a friend of mine who's also really into like this kind of stuff, the supernatural sort of unsolved mystery stuff.
Okay, so all I want you to do now is overpronounce the words, and I want you to inject the read with evil. Just inject it with evil.
Okay. Introducing the one and only network that bridges the gap between the real and the supernatural. Destination unknown. The only network featuring evidence of ghosts. The only network featuring encounters with aliens. The only network featuring legendary monsters. Join us on a journey to the only destination featuring an exclusive lineup of unsolved mysteries and supernatural shows. Coming Halloween 2017.
Big difference. So the overpronounce, guys, like it did with Goldie, the overpronounce creates drama. It creates tension. And injecting evil paints the picture of possession. So it takes the read one step deeper into this. It took us one step deeper into that supernatural. Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice
Yeah.
job, Michael.
I feel so. I don't...
Love it. No, I think it's great. Really, really nice. Okay, Goldie, you're up next. Okay, so we're going to do our second animation script. All right. Get yourself in the old zone, and we'll jump in when you're ready.
You've earned this personalized parking plot, Mr. Schneider. You took over a class of misfit kids that I was ready to expel. Like that one over there! Come here, you wicked little werewolf! Oh, where's my silver-headed cane when I need it? Now, where was I? Oh, yes. Keep up the good work, Mr. Schneider. Or else.
Okay. So who's telling the story? Who's the character?
Who's the character?
Mhm.
Somebody I knew who was actually a horseback rider, a riding teacher at a school that campus I grew up on, is the character that I'm basing it on.
Okay.
But the headmistress is doing this. I don't know.
Okay. So the character, so the person that was the horseback rider, what's her personality like?
Very strict and stern, and sort of peers down her nose at you.
Okay. Okay.
Imposing,
Love it.
a very imposing person.
Keep that, and I'll just add a riding crop to it.
Okay. You've earned this personalized parking lot, Mr. Schneider. You took over a class of misfit kids that I was ready to expel. Like that one over there! Come here, you wicked little werewolf! Oh, where is my silver-headed cane when I need it? Now, where was I? Oh, yes! Keep up the good work, Mr. Schneider. Or else.
Yeah. All we had to do is add the riding crop to her. And also took, when she went to find the cane, it actually made more sense that she was disheveled, but she wasn't completely out of her mind. So when she yelled at the kid, she wasn't shrieking, she was angry. But it was that, like you said, it was that kind of, imposing kind of personality. So what happens too, guys, is when you're trying to create the characters, or when we're trying to develop your story, it's always good to verbalize it in the booth. Like, talk out loud when you're by yourself about how you're forming the what, the who, the why, the where, the when.
Okay.
Because in between take 1 and 2, you verbalized the truth of her, and it connected you even more to the character. Nice job.
Thanks.
Very, very nice. Okay, fantastic. We got a thumbs up from Michael. Beautiful. Nathan, you're up, sir.
Okay. This was a toy, so there's a little bit of gappiness between the lines because he's speaking at different moments when someone comes across its motion sensor. So,
okay. So we want to make sure that we have a nice differential of time lapse.
Yeah.
For everything. Okay. So take your
Riley,
time.
you're a persistent little bugger, aren't you? These are jolly good presents, I'll give you that. All right. You just crossed the line between viewing these gifts and peeking at them. For shame. Tried to sneak a peek at the presents I'm in charge of guarding. Not on my watch, Governor. Right, off you go. You again? Well, isn't this a sticky wicket? Buzz off, Peeker.
Okay, I like the character. Who is the character, by the way?
The character, well, he's a squirrel, and he likes to be in charge of making sure kids aren't shaking the gifts and finding out what's inside them.
Okay.
So he's basically standing watch, doing the marching back and forth thing, acting like he's guarding Buckingham Palace.
Okay. And who is the character based on?
Well, I based his personality off of actually a character that I developed in my own show. So he's based off of a bird named Simon that I use that pretty much has the same vocal tone, almost the same personality,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit less rigid, but still same.
Okay.
Same character type from the inside.
Okay, and the thing that we lost, I think, in the first couple of graphs was the accent. I think the accent started to come into its own probably by the middle of it.
Okay.
So we need to connect to that from the very top.
Okay.
Okay, one more time.
Well, blimey, you're a persistent little bugger, aren't you? These are jolly good presents, I'll give you that. All right, you just crossed the line between viewing these gifts and peeking at them. For shame. Trying to sneak a peek at the presents I'm in charge of guarding? Not on my watch, Governor. Right, off you go. You again? Well, isn't this a sticky wicket? Now buzz off, Peeker.
Okay, I feel like you're walking through the second read a little more. I want you to commit to him a little more. He's you said he's a know it. He's kind of in charge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm losing. He's losing his steam by the middle of the page.
Okay.
Does he know who he's talking to? Who are the characters he's talking to?
Okay. Okay, he's talking to a 4-year-old named Julius. Who
Okay.
really, really wants to know what he's getting for Christmas.
Okay. So where did Peak Buster find him? Under the tree?
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
tell the story.
Literally crawling into the tree.
Blimey, you're a persistent little bugger, aren't you? These are jolly good presents, I'll give you that. All right, you just crossed the line between viewing these gifts and peeking at them. For shame. Trying to sneak a peek at the presents I'm in charge of guarding? Not on my watch, Governor. Right, off you go. You again? Well, isn't this a sticky wicket? Buzz off, Peeker.
Oh yeah. Much different. Much different. He actually was much more charming. He knew who he was talking to. The second you realized it was a 4-year-old, did you guys hear the difference in the tone and the read? That the truth of the story shifted it. It shifted into that place of authenticity, and you heard the relationship.
Yep.
Yeah, really nice
Yep.
adjustment on that, Nathan. Gorgeous.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Miss Kane,
All right.
let's
Hello.
do it.
All right.
All right, so we're looking at Sophie Stadium.
Yes.
Okay, little promo action.
Yes.
All right,
Okay.
I am all ears. Take your time.
Introducing SoFi Stadium, LA's new home for 2 NFL teams, renowned musical acts, and you, our community. Welcome to the most ambitious stage in the world.
Okay, so who's telling the story?
So I didn't do this when I did this spot, but this time I thought of myself as a native Angelinian.
Angelino.
Angelino, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I knew it.
I'm not one. It's
Yes.
fine though.
Yes. So I thought of myself as a native Angelino, in order to tell the story.
Okay. All right. But who is the native Angelino? Does she have a face? I tend to think no.
Right. You're right. You're right. I should have specifically picked someone like people I know.
Like people you know in LA that, might be able to tell the story.
Yes.
So is there anyone in your world who lives in LA who is a total sports fanatic?
No, honestly, I don't know too many people who live in LA very well. So no, not offhand.
Okay, anyone in your world who is a total sports fanatic, period?
Yes, yes.
Who is it?
My cousins, fill in the blank, three brothers. I'll pick Johnny.
Okay. This is a brand new stadium. This is our new stadium that's being built now. That's going to open next year. It's phenomenal. So for someone like Johnny, it is the ultimate fan experience.
Sure. Okay.
Get yourself in the zone.
Introducing SoFi Stadium, LA's new home for 2 NFL teams, renowned musical acts, and you, our community. Welcome to the most ambitious stage in the world.
Thank you. Now the words come to life, guys, right? This is where we heard renowned musical acts. I didn't hear renowned musical acts. I heard renowned musical acts. So all the adjectives start to creep up. They all start to find their truth when Johnny tells the story authentically from his perspective. He doesn't know this is a read. Pardon me? He doesn't know this is an audition. He doesn't know what's at stake. He just knows he loves the damn stadium. Right?
Sure.
Truth, beginning to end. The client will know when you know, and they will know when you don't. Yeah, nice work, Erica. Really, really nice.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Absolutely. So we're down to Mr. DeWolf, yes?
Sure.
Okay. I think Russ, you're the last one, yeah? Is it everybody?
I don't know.
I think so, yes.
I think John hasn't got a second.
Yeah, John.
Oh, John, I'm sorry, John, you haven't got a second time. I'm sorry, buddy. Okay, let's go with your comfortable read, sir. All right, so this is about Zoom. Okay. So do we know what Zoom is?
Yeah, it's something that lights up a room with batteries instead of electricity.
Okay,
So it's
something that lights up a room without
light.
right, something.
A light.
Thank you.
It's just more convenient.
Okay.
You don't have to
Absolutely.
run electricity to it.
Okay, so we want to make sure our what, our who, our why, our where, and our when are in place.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about this. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, for me, I can read this as me because I like gadgets and I'm into that kind of stuff. I'm always looking at them on Wish and ordering them for 39 cents and everything.
Okay.
So, if they don't work, I just throw them out, and it's just worth the effort for me to go through them. But a lot of people, coaches that come on here, they say, "Where are you?" and all that stuff. So, to me, I could be me at an audience at a fair that's trying to sell this product. That's explaining to the people out there in the audience, how it's going to help them and stuff.
Why are you going to put yourself through that?
Well, because other coaches told me to. I mean, it's for the environment, to get the feeling.
Well, remember, it goes back to the what, the who, the why, the where, the when. First and foremost, what is it about? What is your true tell about that what? Don't start from the environment aspect. You're starting from the bottom. Start from the top. What is it about? What is my true tell about it? If I'm connected and passionate, I'm going to tell it. If I'm not, the character is going to tell it. Then you choose who's talking, why it's being said. Then you choose your environment.
Okay, so for me, for instance, I like talking about things like this, so I'm okay with me.
Okay, when you're saying talking about things like this, do you see how that's a general statement? I'm talking about things like this. What does that mean?
Just gadgets in general.
It doesn't matter what it is.
No, not really. I mean,
Okay.
could be something stupid that I wouldn't try, but most of them I'll try just to see what happens.
Just tell the guys at Zoom, I know you want to pay me a paycheck, and I know you got your checkbook and your pen out, but it's a stupid product, so go ahead and pay me,
Well,
right?
you don't really know if they're stupid till you try it. It's not stupid, it's that they don't work.
Okay, but here's again, this is what we're talking about. This is infecting the read.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to say something to you because I made a note about your website. You said you are a voiceover actor extraordinaire. You said that you have awesome demos. My note to you was be careful not to overpromise them anything. My bigger point is that some of these products and projects you talk about might not work and may be stupid.
Mm-hmm.
That's not an extraordinary actor. I'm being really particular here, Russ, because this is about the truth of the story and how you're treating the client. That will translate in sound.
Okay.
They will know you don't care. They will know you think they might be a sham. It will come through in the read because your voice will rat you out in 2 seconds. Mark my word. If you are not connected to the story, you don't understand why you're saying it. And by the way, I'm not browbeating you. I'm saying it for all of our worth and our own good, is that we all have a self-talk that might be just jibber jabber and it might just be funny. We're trying to be funny. It does infect the read. So be careful with that.
Well, that is my true tell, though. When you say that, that is it.
Right. I'm not making your true tell wrong. I'm saying that makes you not right to tell the story. Remember we talked about the stack of 400 scripts? This isn't about Russ DeWolf being the one to tell all 400 stories. You can't do it. That's why Beth, yes, your wife?
Yes.
Okay, Beth told the last story and saved the day. But it doesn't make you a bad actor. It makes you brilliant because you know the things you do connect to and the things that you don't. And the things that you connect to, sometimes you're connecting to because you're like, I'm just going to make fun of it. That's not connecting. If it's asking for it to be a parody, then you do connect. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So keep that in mind, that we want to make sure that the right person is telling the story. So the person that can tell it might be an inventor. It might be someone who is all about creating a small business, creating something that's in this world. Do you know anybody who's an inventor that owns a small business that creates gadgets? Not that likes them, but believes in their product.
Well, from my past, I have worked for companies that, startups, where the people in charge have hyped up the company a lot and I believe they believed, with all their heart that this was going to work out no matter what. So
Who's the person that believed the most?
he was the CEO, kind of Chris. His name was Chris.
Okay. So what's Chris's personality like that you remember?
Smart, very smart, semi upbeat, definitely not downbeat. So I felt confident, I guess would be the word there.
Okay. Now let him tell the story.
All right. That puts a different spin on it for me, but I'll try it. For an easy solution to dark spots in your house, try Zoom. It easily attaches to any surface without electricity. Just 2 AA batteries and the light instantly comes on. Ideal for closets, basements, hallways, bathrooms, and more. Zoom. Light where you need it.
I liked it. Very nice. Guys, what do you think? Yeah. So I want to do one thing. I'm going to add one thing to the read, Russ. I'm going to add what I call a technical smile. Now, a technical smile is simply lifting the 2 sides of your mouth up like this. It's
Okay.
not this. It's literally just lifting them up lifting the 2 sides up halfway.
All right.
Now have him tell the story.
For an easy solution to dark spots in your house, try Zoom. It easily attaches to any surface without electricity. Just two AA batteries and the light instantly comes on. Ideal for closets, basements, hallways, bathrooms, and more. Zoom. Light where you need it.
Very nice. Don't lose the hit on the word Zoom at the bottom just because you're coming to the end of it. Don't use your words, Dave. Make sure you billboard the product at the end as well as the top.
Okay.
But let it.
You know, the reason I didn't, I think, is because I'm so in a character that the technicalities like that aren't coming to me. You know what I'm saying? Because that's something I think when you billboard something, it seems like something you need to try to do. You know, it just doesn't seem to come naturally.
But here's the thing: with someone like Chris, who's the CEO, he has done enough pitches to know what he needs to do with his own product. So he would mention it a second time. He knows how to emphasize the word. It's not about the technical execution of the piece of commercial copy. It's the fact that he's the CEO of a company and he's pitching it.
Okay.
So he knows how to pitch. Nice job, dude. Really, really nice, man.
All right. Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, Mr. Knowles, you are up, sir. Rounding
Yes,
out
sir.
our set. Okay, what are we looking at?
It's a North Face commercial.
Okay. Awesome. So I'm going to mute the mic here and let you do your thing to get us in zone.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready, sir.
What if? What if you could go further than you've ever gone before? What if you took on the impossible? What if you could be a mom and be the best alpinist in the world? What if you could climb that with no ropes? What if you could create a jacket that feels alive? What if your gear could breathe as hard as you do? What if you could wear the future? What if there was no if?
Okay. It's kind of in and out, a little connected, a little not connected, back and forth. What is the story about?
Well, it's a North Face jacket, but I really think it's talking to someone who is contemplating stepping out in faith or trying something hard.
Okay. So who is the person telling the story?
Me.
Okay. To whom?
To my wife, who just started her own coaching business.
And why are you telling her this story, other than the fact that it's your wife?
Her doubt was staring her in the face and freezing her progress.
Now tell the story.
What if? What if you could go further than you've ever gone before? What if you took on the impossible? What if you could be a mom and be the best alpinist in the world? What if you could climb that with no ropes? What if you could create a jacket that feels alive? What if your gear could breathe as hard as you do? What if you could wear the future? What if there was no if?
Much better. Much more connected.
Thank you, sir.
Much more of a sense of the piece of copy. Again, talking about the relationship with Julie, how this all plays out, what her challenges were, and it changed the read, you guys, too, from a place of being dramatic. And Patrick, thank you for your comment, too. Patrick's comment was that, John, love your insight to the copy. I would agree.
Thank you.
I think that there is a really nice insight. I think there's a sense of self, John, that you have in your interpretation of the reads. I think this is really nice work on both scripts. That it's that ability to step into the truth of it. And it kind of is what takes us, and as Patrick said, it takes us on the journey. It helps take us on the journey of truth. And it's what the client is going to hear and what they want. And I think you guys all, as a group, found the journey with your reads. And I love that you guys brought in animation, you brought in promo, you brought in commercial, you brought in e-learning, you brought in all these different aspects. And the reason I didn't limit it to one particular kind of voiceover, you guys, is because all of voiceover is story. Everything is storytelling. And the truth of those stories, regardless of format, are absolutely the key to the success of telling a great story. Because when we all are in crowds of people, we go to dinner parties, we go to we hang out with friends. The reason that people kind of gravitate towards you, galvanize themselves, really lean in because they love the way you tell a story. We're just extending that brilliance into the booth so that when you step away from the copy, it's time well spent. All of this work is time well spent. This is why we do what we do. It isn't meant to be a chore. It isn't meant to be a feat, a challenge. It's meant to be pure, unadulterated storytelling joy. Every word, every script, every time. That being said, this again is not about perfection. It's totally about connection.
Hey, I got a question with that comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
What if you're in the booth and you're not feeling that joy of the storytelling? You think maybe it may be the script. You maybe think what happened to me before I got in the booth. And what do you do when that happens?
Well, that's one of the things about going back to that on your feet health in that handout I sent you, that it's really about keeping yourself connected physically, spiritually, and creatively. This is a great, I'm glad you asked the question. It's about taking care of you before you walk into the booth, because the client, let's say you're in a session, the client doesn't know what's happened to you prior to this, nor in the audition. Your script is a living, breathing thing, but it has no idea that you had a fight with your spouse, God forbid, an emergency, something stressful in your life that's contributing to, again, going back to that whole idea of sabotaging the read. It's our responsibility to walk into the read, into the job, into the audition with the decks cleared. It is the fortunate, unfortunate thing about this business that we as actors wear our emotions on our sleeve. That's why we're creatives. That's why we are deep thinkers. That's why we hurt easily. That's why we are excited easily, because there's so much in what we do that's part of the creative culture. We have to feel deeply to be able to tell stories deeply, to affect and move other people. We don't sell insurance. We're not working behind a desk each day. Some of you guys might be doing that as part of your days still, but it's not all of you. So we can't just simply walk through a piece of copy, walk through a piece of story. We have to live it. So Russ, your point is a good one, that when you're feeling not connected, when you're feeling like the copy sucks, the writer was terrible, I had a fight with Beth, and I'm trying to, not that you had a huge fight, but you may have been disagreeing with Beth, you get in the booth, she did something, the kid, whatever happens. It gets us into a place where we need to come at the work ready to work. Because the client on the other end of the MP3 or the Source Connect or the IPDTL or the ISDN or the phone patch doesn't know what just happened before it, and neither does the script. Make sense?
So what's some logical things that you do when you get in that situation?
I'll journal every day. I'll meditate every day. If I find myself in a place where I'm not comfortable, I feel like I'm not ready for the script, if I'm in a recording session, I will know I have a recording session ahead of time, so I'll do what I need to get myself on the court for that. If it's an audition, I just won't do it until it's time, like until I get myself in the zone, whether that's journaling, whether that's taking part in nature. One of the great things that I encourage clients to do is the artist's way. If you've never done the program, it's an absolutely fantastic program for creative people, to give you the opportunity to really expand being creative, taking the moment to take in your environment, and it really helps center you in your work. So there's a number of things, and it depends on what really makes you tick, what makes you center every day. Is it the gym? Is it meditating? Is it journaling? Is it walking in the park, hanging out somewhere to get you in that zone? And because we're all working from home studios, some of us may have children, some of us have spouses and have other people that live with us. So it's not as easy as escaping into a room and sometimes there's no sound. We have to kind of negotiate that with spouses and people in the buildings we live in or the homes we live in. That's a challenge. And some people don't understand how stressful that is for us. You're in the middle of a perfect read. Something happens. There's a bang. There's a plane. There's a siren. And you got to go back and do it again. But
Okay,
the
Artist's Way, is that a book or what?
It is.
Okay.
It is. It's a book. God, what is her name that wrote it? It's not hitting my brain. It's called
Julia Cameron.
Julia Cameron. It's Julia Cameron.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Absolutely. Thanks,
Thank
Devin. I forgot. But the program is brilliant. So use that maybe as one of your tools. Anybody else? Questions, comments?
Real quick, just so that I make sure that we have it. Why don't you give us more information about how we can get in contact with you about coaching sessions or, any other information that we can get about you, social media or anything like that?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I know that time is short here. And I want to thank you guys for taking the time, these 2 hours, to be able to do this with me. And Michael for the invitation. I really can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I am available online. I'm available via email, via phone. I work with clients privately, one-on-one, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, between 9 and 6 Pacific. So if you're in the East Coast, that's between 12 o'clock and 9 p.m. The sessions are 55 minutes each. They're very flexible. I consider the work I do with each of you a strategy. It's not just coaching. And it's one of the reasons I went to your websites, to really kind of investigate things that are about you guys all. So when I work with clients, it is about improving your reads, but it's also about strategizing the next move for you. And so please know that I'm available. If you have questions from the session today, if you listen back to the session, you have notes, questions, please email me. It's dave@walshvoiceovercoaching.com. The website is walshvoiceovercoaching.com. Social media, Instagram is Walsh Voiceover Coaching. Same thing with Facebook. The one thing I want to mention about Facebook to all of you guys, what I'm doing with my Facebook page is I'm migrating a lot of my VO peeps. I have a closed Facebook page for Walsh Voiceover Coaching because, with family and things like that are on the other page, I'm trying to separate the two businesses. So if you do try to friend me on the personal page, please don't be offended, but please reach out and ask to be joined into the group, because there's about 750 people in that group. And it's a community of all of us. So that's the scoop, you guys. I'm going to leave you with one last thing. I have 2 stepchildren who are 26 and 22, 2 grown men. I have 4 godchildren in their teens, and I didn't birth any of these 6 kids. But the one thing I've always said is, what is the thing that I can bring to their lives that I feel like is a stamp on something that I have created for them? And one of the things I've said to all of them is, never let anyone silence your voice. Never let any situation, never let any one person silence your truth, because that is your soul. That's the thing that makes you different, that makes you stand out, that makes you unique. So whether you're in the booth or outside of the booth, always carry that with you. Your voice and your story always matter. So with that, I turn it back over to Michael. I want to thank you guys for everything. It was fantastic.
I was going to say that to you. That was my line.
No, I'm sorry. Well, go ahead. You can say it anyway.
Thanks for everything, Dave.
No, Dave, thank you so much for coming and spending this time with us. We're going to go ahead and end the recorded portion of the mic check right now. But before we do that, I just want to let you know that we're not going to be having a mic check on the week of Christmas. Obviously, you guys need to be with your family, and you guys need to enjoy it there. So we'll pick back up afterwards, and we'll move strong into next year. So stay tuned for any other upcoming coaches we may have on, and just join us. We have the subscription link down over there, what am I saying? The link directly to the mic check down below, as well as you can hit the subscribe button, everything you want to keep updated. And this is why I'm a voice actor, because I can't words good on my own. So anyway, thank you all very much, and we'll see you next week. Join us every Monday for free script practice. You can also find the mic check on Facebook and Twitter. If you liked what you saw, then subscribe for more.